there. That is my Haplopelma Albostriatum. That's the Thai zebra. This is Pegasus. This is the one that I rehoused in this enclosure a little while back. And it looked a little big at the time. She has a funnel web over in the corner here. Can't really see it, but it goes up in the corner. And she has been walking around on top of the substrate every once in a while. And you know, this is a pet hole, so you never know what they're doing underneath there, how big the tunnels are. And she actually came all the way across here and got up against the glass, and when I fed her yesterday, she went back into the tunnel a little bit, so I was able to shine a light, and she actually has a very nice elaborate little tunnel in there. And she seems to be doing okay. I was a little worried about putting her in this enclosure, mainly because I was, you know, once she gets big enough and she has to come out, it can be a little difficult to get them out, and it takes some time. You know, you have to almost do it as if you were catching a wild caught specimen out in the wild. You know, you got to take your time and kind of spoon out a little bit, you know, of the substrate at a time, make sure you don't get the tea hurt. There's other methods of doing it. I don't necessarily try to do the method of pouring the water in there into the substrate, into her barrel or her tunnels there, and then it forces her out. That works. It actually does work. But you have to be extremely careful, because sometimes they get freaked out and they won't come out. And I've seen teas kind of just freeze up and literally just drown because it just won't come out of the hole. You know, so sometimes the water works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't particularly like to do that, so I usually try to dig them out, and that works for me because eventually they just, once you get close enough, they kind of just come out. I've never had a problem with it, and that's the only method I use on my Thai zebra to get her out. I've only had to move her, I believe, twice now, and as long as she's fine in this substrate, it's actually pretty cool, because if you don't think she has enough substrate, you know, I always leave a little room. You can always add more substrate, and she'll keep tunneling and making things bigger in there. So you don't really have to do anything to them. You do have to be careful of mold, because they do like the humidity a little higher and the substrate a little wetter. So you have to be careful not to over wet, and you can't always see what she's eating as far as leftovers. So you got to be careful, you know, about that. So these are the ones that it's really hard to power feed them or to give them too much. You have to be very careful. Just give them enough, because you don't want to have leftovers over there as far as mold. And she doesn't take out her, you know, she doesn't, when she molts, she doesn't take out the exoskeleton. She doesn't take out extra food bulbuses or anything. So you have to be careful of that. So I give her enough where I know she's going to eat the entire cricket. And with this species, you know, it really doesn't matter how fast they're growing, because you're not going to see them anyway. So there's no need to power feed them or to give them couple extra crickets of feeding. Want to do it, and as you can see, she's already gone. She doesn't like light. I just thought I'd give you a quick update of her. I rarely see her, so that was cool that she came out and took a peek through the window there. I call it a window when she makes it. But she's doing alright. Alright guys, have a good one. Hello again everyone. I've been rehousing like crazy. I've had a lot of teas molting in the last few months, so naturally, when they get bigger, they need a new home. This is the Vagans. Her name is Fire, and she molted a while ago. I would say a few months ago. And if you can see, that rump is huge. She's definitely in pre-molt, and she needed a rehouse. Maybe not at this moment she didn't need it, but after she molts, she'll need something of this size. This is my old enclosure for my pea camera dry, the Trinidad Chevron that I just took out and put in a bigger enclosure. And this one is was always the plan that when she came out, this one will go in. As you can see, she is not overwhelmed by space in there. She has her hide in there. Big nice cave for her. She's very docile, and she will use every inch of this enclosure. She walks around a lot, especially at night. And I just happened to look inside her old hide, and she was just literally taking up the whole space in there. I mean, the hide was laying on her rump. So I figured I had a few minutes, so let me go ahead and change her over. So, and she's about the same size as my B. Amelia, who's in the same enclosure, and she's been loving this enclosure, so not too big for her. It'll be just fine for her. So that's just a quick update video about her. Can't wait for her to molt. I want to see what she's going to look like. I've had her for a while. She's a slow grower. She's not an incredibly fast grower, but she's very sweet. So hopefully she'll get used to this enclosure, and I haven't fed her because her rump is so big, so she maybe next week I'll feed her, depending on how that rump looks, but I'll give her something. I always give them a little something when they get new enclosures. So alright guys, thanks for watching.